So, the news is out. We bought a van!
This is our new van. Today we're going to give you a walkthrough tour of what the van looked like exactly as was in 1988, as she is fully original. Over the next couple months we're going to be living in Lady May, our bus, and converting this van until we move into it full time. Come check her out.
Okay guys, this baby right here is an all-original 1988 Chevy Astro Tiger Provan. There's only a few hundred of these ever made, and we're lucky enough to have our hands on number 78. Welcome to our new home.
Alright, so starting on the outside, we have our refrigerator vents here. We have this little locking storage. That you have your RV drain hose, we have the jack, just miscellaneous stuff, more like roadside assistance stuff. Over here, we have a 20-pound propane tank. It's just a regular gas grill propane tank, but it is modified to kind of fit in there and not flip around. And that powers our stove, obviously, and also our heater. So currently in the bus, we have a diesel heater. In this rig, it's already fitted with a hydroflame propane heater with a thermostat. Right now we're gonna keep it. We're gonna kind of compare and contrast our experience with the diesel heater to this propane heater and see which one we like better, and if we feel necessary, we'll swap this out for a diesel heater. Next up, you have your shore power. We're gonna just use a 20 amp hookup for this, nice and simple. So walking around the back, you'll see a whole lot of nothing. So right now, there was a spare tire mounted here. We're gonna be relocating that spare tire right up here. And the reason being is we're gonna mount two 36-inch toolboxes on the back here. That will be additional external storage. And then on the top of those toolboxes, we'll be mounting our bike rack for our mountain bike. And then last on the back is the first project that we've completed so far, and that's installing our backup camera. Now, we don't use this backup camera really for backing up or parallel parking. It's actually an always-on camera for when we're driving, so that we know that we're more safe to merge lanes on the highway and things like that. Moving around to the main side. So on the main side, you have our water tank fill up. This goes into a 22-gallon water tank. I believe the gray underneath it is 17 gallons. And then we have a battery box. Now, we're actually going to repurpose this battery box for outside storage, as we're going to have our lithium battery bank on the inside of the build. And the only other thing on the outside that we plan to be changing, let's get underneath to check it out. So as you saw from the outside, she already had some pretty good ground clearance. But as we explained in our previous video on unveiling of this van, one of the main reasons we're making this switch is accessibility. Being able to get places that we couldn't with the bus. So an exciting modification we're planning on making is going to be lifting her about 2 to 3 inches. We're going to be adding a leaf spring in the back. And the biggest thing is that we're going to be replacing the rear differential to a limited slip differential. And what that means is if you get stuck in the mud or you're somewhere slick, if one tire is spinning, it's actually going to stop that tire from spinning and just apply power to the other tire or the other wheel so that it pushes you out of that scenario. She's currently rear wheel drive. Obviously, Astros were made with all-wheel drive, and that would have been incredible, but we fell in love with this rig, didn't have all-wheel drive, so we think the limited slip differential is going to give us what we need to get to the places that we want.
Hey guys, now that you have seen the outside, let me show you the inside. Okay guys, so the first space we want to show you today is our bedroom. When we lift the top up, it actually exposes our bed. So we are sleeping on a full-size mattress, which is the same size that's in the bus, so that's super nice. This bed is located over the cab of our van, so this actually maximizes the total space in our area. We actually have 2 vents that stay on either side of the bed so we can get nice airflow, and we have our vent up here that goes down and up in case it gets a little hot at night.
Welcome to our kitchen. The kitchen is actually built out pretty well. There's maybe a little bit of wasted space that we could maximize, but overall you got our refrigerator, which is currently a 12 volt or a propane refrigerator. We're actually going to be swapping this out for a chest refrigerator that's going to roll out. And what that's going to give us the ability to do is have extra storage up top of that rollout refrigerator. And we're going to be extending out the counter just a little bit. Moving over, you have a double sink. It's actually a decent sized sink compared to what we see in a lot of RVs or builds. We're just going to see if we can swap this out for a single bay sink rather than a two. You have a couple drawers here, and you have our 3-burner stove. This stove is great. For now, we are keeping it, but you'll see right down here, all of this extra storage almost looks like an oven. That's because an oven was an option in here. If you know from Lady May, we love a good colorful retro oven. So we're keeping an eye out. If we find one we like and we decide to swap it out, we'll actually be putting one of those vintage ovens in here as well. Alright, so then above the kitchen area, we actually have some additional storage. We have 2 cabinets here, and then a sliding cabinet here. When it comes to look or design of all of this, you see a lot of wood grain in here. We actually like it overall, but we're going to swap some stuff out just so that it's not all wood grain. So the front cabinetry, we're actually going to paint that. Right now we're thinking we're going to leave the top cabinetry as it is, but we'll see how it all comes out. So this is probably the best cabinet in the build. It's really deep, and I think it's going to be really good for our cans and a lot of kitchen supplies. We also plan to build a spice rack right over here to hold our spices for cooking and maybe some of our oils. And then the last thing in the kitchen area is our thermostat. Like we said on the outside, it's currently a propane heater. Thermostat option of that's really nice because with our diesel heater, it doesn't really turn off and on. It's an always-on system that once it hits to a certain temperature, it maintains. So we'll see what we think with that. And then moving on over here, we have our bathroom/storage closet. As you can see, it's currently being used as a storage closet. We haven't found our toilet solution yet. It's all going to depend on measurements, but our toilet will fit in here, and then the back half will be our actual closet. We'll build out some shelving in it and have some drawers for clothing.
Next, we're going to talk about the canvas. The canvas is actually the area that extends when the roof goes up. All right, it was replaced by the guy that we bought the rig from, and what's really nice about it is it opens for some windows, and they're nice big windows, which is super important to us, especially coming from a shuttle bus because we loved the windows in the shuttle. So having huge windows is really important, and it has 3 layers. So
Other side.
On this side, it has 3 layers. So you have this insulated layer, and then you have the sunscreen layer, and then you just have a screen, which is really, really nice because we have the animals, so having the nice flow of air coming in and out is perfect. Okay, so now we're in our living area, and we actually loved the way this looked. The cushions are in such good condition. It's in an L shape, so there's plenty of space, and it's just really comfortable to be in. It actually has 3 different purposes.
So right now, you're in our living room, then it transitions into our dining room, and then the third purpose is our guest bedroom. The other cool part about that guest bedroom is if it's really cold out, we can drop the top, turn this couch into a bed, and our tiny little living area is all we need to heat, so that allows us to stay warm whenever it gets really chilly.
Last in our living space is the storage that we have just above our heads. So there's one big one over here, and it comes all the way over. And then we're going to definitely add some more storage on the side behind me. Hopefully not too high though, because then I'll hit my head.
Another idea that we have, and we haven't decided if we're doing it yet, is like a platform basket system that we can put on top of this shelf, so that when the top is up, we have access to that storage in the baskets, but then when we move the vehicle, it'll just be like one piece that we move down onto the floor. We're really trying to limit the amount of items that get shifted around when we move in this vehicle, because in the bus it was very realistic, because most of the time when we park somewhere we were staying there for a little while. In this van, we're not going to be moving every day by any means, but we're going to be moving a lot more, so the less moving parts every time you need to move the van, the better.
Extending our living space is actually our passenger chair. It swivels all the way around. It's obviously super cool. I mean, look at it. And it's super comfortable, and it leaves us with a bunch of space over here. So when we have people over, there's more space to hang out.
Now moving on to the dash. This retro front dash area is one of the many things that called us to this van. It is in perfect condition and we have no plans of changing anything here.
So underneath all of the couch is storage. Here you see the existing power pack from '88 that covered the electrical. Some of this under couch storage is going to house our electrical components. For this build, I'll just briefly go over it. We're going to have 300 watts of solar on the top. We're going to have an alternator charger. We're going to have 300 watts of lithium batteries. And we're going to store all of that in here with, I think, a 2,000 watt inverter. Also, over here is our 22-gallon water tank that I mentioned when we were on the outside. We'll be plumbing that in with a clear source water filter. Super excited to show you guys the build of that. Awesome products. We'll be able to pull water from any water source. So that'll be part of our plumbing system down here. And now, as you've been watching this, the question we've all been waiting for.
As you can see, we have carpets. Very 1988.
88 brown carpets. Nightmare scenario, right? We're definitely saw this and we're like, we are swapping that out for some hardwood floors. But then we got in it.
And I think we're going to keep them.
They're really cool. Our first couple of nights driving the van to the bus, it got really cold. And walking on carpet when it's really cold. If you live in a rig or have a camper, you know when it's cold, hardwood floors suck. It's awful. The carpet is so much better for that. There's also a different coziness. I've been laying on the floor so much in here. So we think we're going to give it a shot. Well, if we hate it, we can rip them out later.
We have been to Sedona, and that red dirt does not forgive. But we think we're going to try.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. We'll keep you updated on that. There's a chance one day you'll watch a vlog from us with carpets and the next day they're going to be gone. But for now, these babies are here to stay.
Thanks so much for watching our little mini tour, guys.
Now, a reminder, this is the before. We are going to be making some changes to this van and we're going to be documenting most, maybe all, probably not all, but we're going to be documenting our changes, posting them on this YouTube. So follow along, see what happens to this beauty of a 1988 Tiger Provan.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, y'all.
Peace.